It's a little too loud. So, I want to talk about public finance and theory and practice. Nothing more fascinating than that here, one of my old college textbooks. And I'm just going to pull out to the part 3 of the book. So part 3 of the book, Revenue Structure, talks about Introduction to Taxation. I'm just going to give you the chapter titles here. Introduction to Taxation, Individual Income Tax, Defining Taxable Income. So your income isn't taxable, just some of it is. Individual income tax preferences, exemptions, and rates. Yeah. Corporate income tax, sales tax, property tax, wealth tax, payroll tax. Never really thought about the fact there's so many different types of taxes. Well, let me tell you, for every tax out there, there's a different opinion on whether or not we should have that tax and what we should do with that tax. This is one of the problems. When we're taxing people, what are we doing with that? Are we truly providing a social good, or are we just wasting somebody else's money? That's sort of the question. So I want to begin first with other people's opinions.
At the same time, we better be vigilant in our approach to bring fairness to how we share the burden of the price tag on government.
The buildings surrounding us house some pretty interesting folks. They have an insatiable appetite for tax dollars and a thirst for power. Stop taking our money. Stop taking our children's money. Can you stop, for the love of God, taking our grandchildren's money?
Republicans have in promoting their ideological position. Here a lot is an excuse that they use about the deficit is that they don't want to leave, it's an un-American, unpatriotic, whatever, to leave that to our children. I have children, and what I think about is the America that they're going to be living in, and it encompasses all of the issues that you've talked about. They're going to graduate possibly with heavy student loans. They're not going to be able to find a job. If they find a job, it may be part-time with no benefits, no health benefits, no pension plan. And now they may have to wait until they're 70 years old until they can access Social Security and Medicare, and then they'll have to pay 70% of their income to get it. So the America that I see in the future, that deficit I understand the importance of. They can address the deficit in other ways. I'm not at all against means testing for Social Security.
Insatiable thirst for greed to take over. And I'm not condemning any class. I know tons of millionaires and billionaires who have been quoted saying, let me charge me more. I'll be socially responsible. So it's not like anyone in any category should be condemned, because there's good and bad in all. But when policy gets overridden by this drive to just increase the top at the expense of middle-class America, we're going to college. I didn't even know how to spell college when I was going to college. I mean, that was the drive. And where's that passion today for fairness for the middle class?
I guess my question to you is, in all the discussion I've read about the Bush tax cuts, even for we ought to get rid of them or we ought to keep them in place, is any talk being taken? Anybody thinking about the individual tax cuts, such as the estate tax, and making some adjustments on that, rather than just saying point blank, one way or the other, either keep it at 0 or put it back to 55%. Your former colleague, Mr. Weiner, had the attitude, well, you're dead, you don't need the money anymore. Well, I want my kids to have the money. I want, if I own a small business, my kids to be able to keep that business going if that's what they choose to do.
These big groups that take over, special interests could buy their policy and really reformulate to the negative the social injustice or social justice in the equation of policy and budgets. So,
middle class America. Unfortunately, I think middle class America is shrinking instead of growing. we're going in the other direction. We used to make too many. We used to be the nation that made millionaires, and we're not that nation. The rich people are getting richer. The poor people are getting poorer. The middle class are joining the lower middle class and becoming poorer. So we have to shift something. We have to make tough decisions.
And then I'm going to end with one example of where taxes are important. They're going to add value to people's lives, and they're going to do something of actual value. So enjoy. So I want to talk to you about taxes. And why am I standing here? Well, because one of the types of taxes is property taxes. So I'm on a piece of property. Actually, this particular property used to be a lake.
And Emily's over there. Okay, why don't you take her?
Okay. And Emily's very excited.
Whoa. Yeah.
Put them back.
Sure.
We're hoping at some point it'll be a lake again. But as you look off in the distance, you'll see the former dam that burst, and so it's no longer a lake. And a committee has had to get together here, an association to form and to rebuild that dam. So, well, if you've ever been on a dam committee, you'll know what I'm talking about. But anyway, let me explain. This community has to raise money. Now, I don't want to call them taxes. I'm going to call them dues for an association. But I want to explain that in setting this up, what happened when the dam burst, the association didn't exist. However, there was a deeded obligation on every property in this community to join an association if one is created. So one was created, and that required bylaws. And bylaws required taxes, essentially dues, to pay for all this. We have to pay for a dam. Now, there are two different types of lots we decided on in this community. There are some lots that are lakefront lots. To my right, your left, you'll see there is a lot here, and it has a house. That house is a 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid mobile home that after that it was purchased for a couple $1,000s. The guy brought it here, parked it, and quite frankly the wheels are still underneath the house. I doubt that it'll work, so it's not terribly mobile, but they've added on a little porch. On this side here, you'll find a lake rights lot. Now this house is a little bit better constructed, and they have a view. They have a view not of the lake, but of a mobile home. So obviously, the views are different, the prices are different. One house is going to sell for more. Even though this is a mobile home, it's going to sell at a higher price than the lake rights lot. Now, in this case here, we decided to evaluate our dues. We're going to be tied to the value you get out of it. Obviously, a lake front property gets more value than a lake rights property. So because of that, we decided that a lake front lot would be worth 1 share, and the lake rights lots, there's 9 lots that are in the lake rights category, they all share 1 lot. So we decided that they would all pay 1/9 of the taxes. So in this community that now owns a lake bed and a broken dam, they also own a road. This is the road that everybody collectively owns. But because of the way the association was created, lakefront pay 1/24 of all the costs associated with the lake. The lake rights pay 1/9 of 1/24, and I'm sure you can do the math on that, but they pay a lot less. So if one place is spending $1,000, another place they're being assessed for $111. That's the difference. Interestingly enough, because the road is all part of this here, everybody receives the same benefit for the road. They don't all receive the same benefit for the lake, but they all receive the same benefit for the road, and yet the lake rights people are taxed at a much lower rate than lake front people. Is that fair? It's just the way it is.